What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here for your MLS free picks for Wednesday, July 17th. At the moment, guys, we are a bit slow with soccer games since the Euro Cup and Copa America have ended. There's not a lot of club soccer going on right now. We do have some Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League early qualifications. I'm not really touching those. Those are teams from like super lower leagues. Uh, and some of those teams, well, I would say most of those teams, if you're actually not really following soccer, you basically haven't heard of. So we'll wait a bit for those to kind of thin out and for us to start getting those big teams. And that's when we will be starting to focus on the club soccer more. But thanks to the MLS, we have a full slate on the schedule on Wednesday, and I do mean a full slate, guys. 14 games are on the schedule, kicking off at 7:30 p.m. and later. And it's gonna be a very fun evening for us in the MLS. Now on Saturday we also had 14 games in the MLS. We were able to hit 9 of those 14. Unfortunately, we did lose a parlay, but we'll get it back on Wednesday with another five-legger. That pays on at plus 400 and something. So I've put that together. I will be going with a full unit on it, and hopefully we get some money back on that parlay as well. For my free picks, go to the Pickdawgz website or simply click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page where you can sign up, get a daily pass, 3-day pass, 7-day pass, or even a month-long pass if that's something you want to do. And if you're one of those big bettors who likes to bet $500 bets and above that, who has a bit of a bigger bankroll, and is willing to wait for the picks to an hour, half an hour before the game time once the lines have settled, once we see the lineups and stuff like that. Then I would send you my top picks for certain games, and that's where we make a lot of money. Those are the games where I put most of my money on, and we have been doing pretty well as far as that goes. We've been making a lot of money. So if you are that type of a bettor, text the word gold to 443-780-5663 and we'll get you sorted out. Have in mind, it's not a free service, it's a paid service, and it's a month-long commitment to the service as well. Like I said, guys, 14 games on the schedule, so let's get this show on the road. Let's try to get through these games as quickly as possible, and have in mind there is a parlay at the end of the video as well. Atlanta versus New York City FC is the first game that we have going on. And as we can see, Atlanta is a bit of a favorite in this game. They definitely play a lot better at home than they're playing on the road. And NYC has been a little bit more inconsistent over the last few games. And I don't know, we've seen all sorts of results in the head-to-head matchup between these two teams. As far as the injuries goes, New York City has a few injuries. Atlanta has a couple of suspended players and a couple of injured players as well. They are on the four-game losing streak, so I'm not really counting on them to get a win here. And as a matter of fact, I don't think that they can get a win here. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a hard-fought battle. I think if we are lucky, we should see a 1-1 draw. If not, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 0-0 result here in this one. So I'm going to go with the draw at plus 250. Columbus is hosting Charlotte in the next matchup in the MLS, and Columbus is now on a five-game winning streak, and I'm definitely leaning towards them in this game. However, they're minus 192 favorites, so there's no value in that, which means we have to dig deeper. We have to add goals or something like that. But with Charlotte playing decent football as of late and scoring in two of their last three games on the road, make that actually five of their last six games on the road. I think that they can get the scoreboard in this one as well. So both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 105. That's gonna be my pick for this one. Cincinnati and Chicago is the next matchup, guys. And you know what? I'm gonna keep this one very simple. Chicago gets a win, then they drop off the map. And I think that's going to be the case here as well. They have only one win, four draws, and six losses on the road this season, and they have lost their last three games on the road in a row. Now, Cincinnati on the other side is coming off of a home loss against Charlotte 3-1, which was actually shocking to me, which means that they will try to bounce back in this one, and I think that they will be successful in that. So, at the price we are getting Cincinnati at, I will take them on the money line at minus 161. Inter Miami and Toronto is the next matchup, and luckily for Toronto, they snapped their losing streak by beating Philadelphia on Saturday last week 2-1 at home. However, this is going to be a tough game for them because Inter Miami hasn't lost to Toronto in any of their last four home games, and they should be getting Busquets back for this game, who I think was being rested or something like that in their previous games. And now they're facing Toronto, who hasn't won any of their last seven games on the road. I think it's quite clear in this matchup that neither side can keep a clean sheet. And with that in mind, both teams to score in over 2.5 goals at minus 139. New York Red Bulls are hosting Montreal in the next matchup, and I just don't know. I honestly think this is a type of a game that could go either side, especially with Montreal slowly rising up in their form and with New York City Red Bulls being undefeated at home so far this season with 4 wins and 4 draws. I think this is going to be a very tight game, but usually Montreal tries to step up when playing against Red Bulls and they're scoring goals on the road. They haven't been playing particularly well on the road this season, but I think they can get to the scoreboard because New York Red Bulls haven't been that consistent defensively as of late. So in this game, I'm taking both teams to score at minus 133. Philadelphia and New England should be an interesting matchup. Philadelphia is trying to snap their losing streak. They just are very unsuccessful right now. They haven't won any of their last 10 games, and they have won only one home game this season. Now, that is coming from one of the best teams over the last couple of seasons. But this season, they are close to the bottom of the table. They just, I don't know, something weird is happening with them. They still have the time to turn the season around to make a sharp 180. However, they have to start winning some points. They have to start scoring some goals more consistently, trying to step it up defensively. But until they do that, I simply cannot side with Philadelphia. I think this is a type of a game where both teams feel like they could potentially get a win, especially New England, who's been playing decent football as of late, even though they're on a two-game losing streak. And with that in mind, I'm taking the over 2.5 at minus 161. Dallas and Austin are the Texas Derby that we have going on this Wednesday, and I think it's going to be a very, very fun one. Dallas is actually scoring a lot of goals right now, and one player in particular is carrying this team, and that is Petar Musa, their striker, who they signed before the season started. He's been scoring a lot of goals. He's been participating in a lot of actions for Dallas. And let's be honest, Austin's defense right now is not the most consistent defense in the league. They are conceding goals, especially when playing on the road. And with that in mind, I'm going to side with Petar Musa to score a goal for Dallas at plus 120. Minnesota and DC United should be an interesting matchup because Minnesota has to bounce back. They haven't won any of their last 8 games. However, when playing at home against DC United, they have never lost. As a matter of fact, they have beaten them all 3 times. DC United, on the other side, is coming off of a win against Nashville, but when playing on the road, they haven't won any of their last 5 games. And I don't know. We'll see how much that win against Nashville will have an impact on them for this game. Are they gonna try to step it up? Are they gonna score a goal? I also think that they will because let's be honest, Minnesota right now doesn't look like a good team. And first, they need to start scoring more goals, and only then they can focus more on defense because I don't know, they just look very, very shocked right now. Something strange is happening with this Minnesota team. They are getting back a couple of players though, so that should certainly help them a lot. But I don't think they can keep a clean sheet in this game. And with that in mind, I'm taking both teams to score an over 2.5 at minus 143. Nashville will be hosting Orlando, and you know what? At this time, there's simply no betting against Orlando. They're playing really well. They're scoring a lot of goals, whether they play at home or on the road. They are simply averaging like 2.5 scored goals per game right now over the last 5 or 6 games. And Nashville on the other side is on a 4 game losing streak. So I don't necessarily think that Orlando will win this game. I think that Nashville could try and do something in this one, but I think that Orlando can definitely score a couple of goals, and we are getting that at plus 120. So Orlando team total over 1.5 goals at plus 120. Galaxy is hosting Colorado in that West Coast derby, and you know what? They are coming off of a loss, and that was against Dallas 2-0 on the road, which was something very disappointing to me because I was at least expecting Galaxy to score a goal because that's something they've been doing extremely well this season. But as far as this one goes, I know that Colorado is in amazing form right now. They have lost only one of their last games. They're coming off of a 1-1 draw against NYC. And even though they have been playing a little bit worse on the road than they have been at home, I still think that they have a good chance in this game to maybe try get on the scoreboard or something like that. However, at the price we are getting at minus 101, minus 105 for Galaxy on the money line, I simply have to take that. I think this is a very good bounce back spot for them. They are healthy, they have the depth, they have the quality, especially when playing at home. And because of that, I simply have to take Galaxy on the money line at minus 105. San Jose and Houston should be another interesting matchup. Of course, Houston is in a much, much better form than San Jose is, but San Jose at home this season has been doing decent job when it comes to scoring goals, and they've actually scored 13 goals in their 12 home games, while Houston has scored 17 goals in their 11 games on the road so far this season. Now, defensively, both teams are a bit of a mess at home and on the road. With that in mind, I'm gonna go with over 2.5 at minus 154, just in case if something strange happens here and one of the teams gets shut out. And if that happens, my money would be definitely on San Jose, who's been garbage for pretty much the last 3 seasons in a row. Seattle will be hosting St. Louis in another MLS matchup, and St. Louis once again on a two-game losing streak right now. They lost to Vancouver once again, this time 4-1. Before that, they lost to Colorado 4-1 on the road. They haven't beaten anyone on the road so far this season. They have 5 draws and 5 losses. And now they have to face this Seattle team who's on a 5-game winning streak, who's lost only one game at home so far this season, and they actually haven't lost to St. Louis in any of their last 3 games at home. So definitely, I'm leaning towards Seattle. They're playing outstanding football right now. They're winning games, and we are getting them at a decent price. So I'm taking Seattle on the money line at minus 154. Vancouver will be hosting Kansas in the next matchup, and I'm definitely leaning towards Vancouver at minus 133 right now, who are undefeated in their last 5 games, being on a two-game winning streak, and this is actually their first home game in a few weeks. And they will definitely like to get a win out of it. However, it's not going to be as easy because Kansas actually is rising in their form. They are on a three-game winning streak, and they've scored 7 goals in their last 3 games. So they definitely will be a big threat to Vancouver here. However, Vancouver hasn't lost any of their last 3 games against Kansas. So that's something definitely going their way, and they're healthy. They are in a great goal scoring form. And Brian White definitely looks like a great goal scoring prop for Vancouver in this game. But however I slice this one, whether they get a win or a draw or something like that, I definitely see Vancouver getting at least a couple of goals out of this game. So I'm taking Vancouver team total over 1.5 goals at minus 154. And for our last pick before we get onto the parlay of the day, we have LAFC hosting Salt Lake in the next matchup. And LAFC got a very, very disappointing result against Columbus. They lost 5-1 at home, which was actually the first loss at home this season. Salt Lake on the road so far this season has 4 wins, 6 draws, and 2 losses. And they have been one of the most consistent teams in the league so far this season. As far as the injuries goes, both teams have a few injured players, not a lot, and it certainly shouldn't impact their depth for this game. But you know what? We have seen a lot of overs. We've seen both teams scoring. We haven't seen it a lot. We haven't seen it often. As a matter of fact, um, none of their last 6 games between these two teams have seen both teams scoring. But I think that's going to be changed in this game. Like I said, LAFC suffered a horrible home loss, so they will definitely try to bounce back in this one. But Salt Lake, on the other side, hasn't scored a goal against Portland in their last game. They ended up losing 3-0. but I think that they will get to the scoreboard in this one. So for me, both teams to score and over 2.5 at minus 122. That's gonna be my pick for this one. That's it for the single picks, guys. Now we are moving on to the parlay of the day. I'm gonna go with Inter versus Toronto over 2.5 goals. I'm gonna take Cincinnati on the money line. Philadelphia versus New England, both teams to score. Seattle on the double chance at home against St. Louis, and Vancouver on the double chance against Kansas at home as well. Now, five leg parlay, guys. Like I said, this one pays on a plus 456. Let's get some nice winners. Let's hit this parlay. I love it. I'm gonna go with the fully loaded on it. Like I said, guys, we got 9 out of 14 winners on Saturday. Let's do even better with this one. Let's get 10, 11, 12 winners. Hopefully there's no surprises, at least not big ones, and hopefully we make a ton of money on Wednesday, and hopefully our bankroll gets a lot bigger. That's it, everyone. Thank you for joining me here. I hope you have a great day. Good luck with all of your bets, and I'll see you soon with more free picks.